I hate that. Once I get my once I move and stuff like that to another place here in Miami, I'm gonna get a actual studio. 'Cause hate the angle of this computer. It just feels so weird. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's better. We'll just go ahead. My YouTube page, I believe it's Gabe Stefan, to be honest. I think I got to restructure a lot. So if people join me, cool. People don't, cool. It's just going to get saved on there, whatever. But I'll just restate it for YouTube. Welcome to the 2025 Astrological Collective Forecast and Predictions that I'm going to make for 2025. I hope everyone is doing well, especially this year. 2024 was, I have to say, it was, for me personally, it was definitely up there as one of the most challenging years I've had. That's why I was very on and off on Instagram. It was one of the most challenging years for me, but it was definitely like a very transformative year for me, because I feel like I'm really stepping into a huge transitional part of my life and who I'm becoming and what I'm doing and so forth. I'm very like proud of myself, getting through the things that I got through this year. Um, so this year was meaningful. It wasn't like it had its similarities to 2020 in a way, but 2020 was more restrictive, obviously, for many reasons. But 2024, it the universe kept me like in a box. It felt like, which it made sense. It makes sense up to this point. It really does. It makes really much sense. I mean, it makes sense because I'm a sun in Pisces, Saturn's in Pisces, so I don't know. Maybe that's the energy that's been. Well, no, actually, no. I take that back. Yes, Saturn's in Pisces, but it's Neptune. I've been affected by Neptune a lot for the past year or so, and Pluto on my North Node, when it was in Capricorn for the past couple of years. So yeah, but yeah, we here. I know. I want to go ahead and do this forecast because I know I'm going to get really busy as 2024 wraps up. So that's why I just want to get into this now. Let's do it. Mercury retrograde is over. I can talk my shit now. I can get on here and do it. So let's get into it. Of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with kind of talking about the main themes of 2025 from what I've seen astrologically. Of course, talk about the meaning of 2025 in terms of the Chinese New Year. And then lastly, I want to touch on the numerology. Then we're going to do what I normally do. We're going to go through each sign, okay, throughout 2025 in terms of the flow of energy, okay? Kind of like I've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years, okay? Now, the only difference, though, is we're going to go from 2025 into a little bit of 2026, okay? When we do the flow of energy. The reason being is because this energy flow that we're going to go into carries into 2026 for a very important reason. And I'm specifically saying until February 20th, 2026. Okay? That's when we enter a huge new era, okay, for all of humanity. A huge new era that we've never experienced, a huge new energy flow of how we're going to operate in this simulation, this world, this earth, how you view this planet, okay? I view it as a simulation. You may view it as a globe. Another person may view it as a plane, okay? I'm just saying that's how I'm going to go into. Okay. The main reason is because of two planets that are going to be the biggest players in 2025. These two planets are going to have the biggest influence on your life. It's going to be Saturn and Neptune. Those two planets are going to have the biggest energy effect on you personally and for the collective. You're going to see it throughout the world. Yes, Pluto's in Aquarius. Okay, cool. You know, we're getting adjusted to what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be for the next 20 years. But I have a feeling Pluto's going to kind of fall in the background, okay, next year, until maybe when Pluto stations direct for the first time in Aquarius in October of next year. Also, a wild card planet is going to be Uranus, because Uranus is going to enter into Gemini next year for a little bit. Okay, that's another main player, and Uranus rules Aquarius, where Pluto is now. That's going to have a big effect on how we're going to operate as a society as well. Okay, but Saturn and Neptune are going to be the biggest players. Now, let's start off with the Chinese New Year. Okay, the Chinese New Year. You know what? This is live, so I can. I'm gonna pull up my post now. One thing I do want to mention for everyone: if you go to my Instagram, YouTube, my Instagram is Gabe Astro Fitness. GABEASTROFITNESS. I have made a post of a map how next year is flow. So look the Instagram or whatever. If you want to look that up or use that as a guide, please do. I'm gonna pull it up on here real quick because the Chinese New Year, because I have it mapped on here as well. The Chinese New Year is going to start January 29th, 2025. And funny enough, it goes until February, I think, 17th of 2026. And it's going to be the year of the snake. Okay. 2026 is going to be the year of. Why is that important to know? Well, we're in the year of the dragon, and we're about to enter into the year of the snake. And just think of snake energy, okay? On a positive note, when I think of a snake, I think of shedding skin, okay? I think of, you know, we're coming out of an old energy into a new energy, okay? That's one of the positive things I think of as a snake. Also, with the year of the snake or snake energy, I'll say another positive thing would be, yes, you can use manipulation to your advantage with certain things, okay? So, and you're going to see people for who they really are when it comes to snake energy, okay? You will see people for who they really are. I think that's a positive thing, in my opinion. On a flip side, we'll say challenge and negatives of your snake is, we'll bring up manipulation again. Manipulation will be at its highest, okay? That's one. Two, I feel like everyone individually will deal with, I'll say it like this, either being stabbed in the back kind of energy, or you're the one that's stabbing someone in the back. Okay? It's going to be one or the other. That's what snake energy, that's what I think of when I see a snake. Okay? It's going to be a lot of backstabbing, or the perpetrator is, you know, stabbing. Okay? Or you may stab in the chest. I don't know. Some people are straightforward. Okay? Let's just say that. Some people are straightforward. Now, moving on, numerology 2025, if you add up the individual numbers, so 2 plus 0 is 2. And then we'll take the 25 part, that equals 7. 2 plus 7 equals 9. It is a 9-year. When we break it down in numerology, 9 is the last number. 9 marks completion. So I find that very interesting that 9 marks completion in terms of timing of certain alignments that are going to take place. A lot of energy that's going to be in Pisces, which Pisces deal with completion, endings, and so forth. It does. And especially towards the end of Pisces. I mean, we're talking, if you understand astrology, every sign has 30 degrees in each sign. And of course, 26, 27, 28, and 29 degrees is the last degrees of each sign. And for it to be at a lot of energy is going to be crossing those degrees in Pisces. That's very extreme because Pisces is the last zodiac sign, and it's pretty much the end of the wheel until everything crosses over into 0 degrees of Aries. Okay, that's why they say spring equinox, which is 0 degrees of Aries, is the beginning of the new year. Okay, that's the official new year. So with that being said, we're going to have so much energy hitting the last degrees of Pisces and the first 10 degrees of Aries. And if you want to break it down, of every 10 degrees is a decan. Okay, 0 to 9 degrees, is a decan. So pretty much a lot of things are going to hit that first decan of Aries and then the last decan of Pisces. So there's a lot of transitional. Okay. Someone has said this. I forget who it was. It was an astrologer. They said it the best. Think of 2025 as you are pretty much looking for a place, a new home, in the first, we'll say, first half of 2025. Okay, you're looking for a new home, a new city, whatever to live in. You find that city, you find that home. Okay, you go through, all the process of signing, closing a deal, or renting a space and so forth. You go through all of that, and then all of a sudden you sign the lease, and now you have a new home. Okay. However, remember, you still have your old home. Okay. You still have your old home. So we got to go back to the old home to move, get everything together and move out. That's what 2025 is. 2026 is when you officially move into your new home. Does that make sense? Okay, let me know if that doesn't make sense, but that's the biggest way I can say how 2025 is going to be for a lot of people. You're pretty much in a transition. You got a new home, okay, cool. But we gotta go back to the old home, and we gotta move out. We gotta pack everything. We gotta move out. We gotta clean the home. We got our old place. We gotta clean all that up. Get our shit together. Put it in the truck, and then drive to the new place. 2026 is when you start taking everything out of the U-Haul, start moving into the new place, and you settle into the new place. That's 2026. After February 2026. Okay. So that's what 2025 is. Okay. Treat 2025 as that, if you can. Okay. I'm not saying you have to get a new home or you have to get a new this, new that. No, only if the universe says you gotta go. Okay. Only if the universe says, yep, you gotta roll out. Okay. We got new upgrades for you. Okay. So think of it that way. And then also too, if I combine the new Chinese New Year energy, the year of the snake, along with the number 9, the last time we had that was in 1989, and it made me literally think of the Berlin Wall falling. It did. It literally made me think of the Berlin Wall falling. I believe that was 1989. Let me confirm that. Unless somebody can confirm that for me. The day of that. It was 1989. I'm right now to confirm it. Okay. I'm moving slow. I'm moving like a snail right now. It's probably because I'm live on YouTube. That's probably why. But somebody, okay, here we go. Oh, thank you, Sleep Well RX. Thank you. November 9th, 1989. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, it makes me think of something falling. But we have a lot to get through when it comes to all that. And I'm going to jump in because I have a lot of like predictions. That's why you haven't heard me talk too much about 2025, really. Because I just didn't want to jump into it when we had this Mercury retrograde ended. And I just want to make sure, like, because this energy we're in right now is very like wonky as of December 2024, just for those who watch the video later on. Right now we're in Jupiter square Saturn. Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is going to square Saturn at 14 degrees of Pisces. It's kind of flip energy because that happened in August. For the first time, Jupiter was moving forward and Saturn was retrograde. Now it's the flip. So we're kind of dealing with this wonky, mutable. There's going to be stop signs if you're not paying attention to the facts. So just make sure you're paying attention to the facts and so forth. That's why I took my time to do this. Okay. So let's get into it. What I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start off with the flow of 2025. We're going to start with January, or we can say Capricorn season, basically. Okay. So start off with Capricorn season. I'm going to kind of flow through my posts as well. Capricorn season, one of the main things that I do want to talk about Capricorn season coming up. It's our very first Capricorn season since, is this since 2008? That's a good question. The phone, real quick, I'll be right back. All right, I want to confirm this. So I have my astrology app on here. I think this is the first Capricorn season since 2008. Let me see. Let's pull up 2008 real quick here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Is this the first? Let's see. All right, so okay, cool. I just confirmed it. This is the first Capricorn season since 2008 that we didn't have Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, in 2008, Pluto was still barely in Sagittarius. By the time Aquarius season in 2008 happened, that's when Pluto shifted into Capricorn. Okay. So, with that being said, this Capricorn season is actually going to be a very interesting feel, because it's like walking into like, let's say you have a grandmother, she had her own house, but she has passed away, but someone else has moved into the house, but the feel is still the same. Okay, so you're walking into your old grandma's house, basically. This is the best way I could put it. You're walking into old grandma's house, and you can still feel the energy of grandma, but she ain't there. Okay, think of it that way. That's what Capricorn season reminds me of. This coming up. Okay, it reminds me of old grandma's house. Okay, because Capricorn represents old people anyway, so that's the reason why I thought of old people. I thought of that for Capricorn. Okay. um One of the major things in Capricorn season that I do want to point out, on January 11th. No, let's start with January 6th, actually. Let's start with January 6th to start off in 2025. Let's start with that one first, okay? Mars will move back into Cancer as Mars is retrograding, okay? Currently, Mars is retrograding in Leo. It will move back into Cancer on January 6th. So what that means is, and it's funny, the timing of that, aligning with the anniversary of January 6th, 2021, okay? They media says it's the worst day in U.S. history since 9/11, which is bullshit. And let me tell you something real quick. This, I want to put this out there. This live YouTube, on Instagram, this is gonna be raw and uncut. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna talk my shit. Okay. So just trigger warning to all of y'all. Okay. Mars moving back into Cancer is going to be major, because this is going to be the time where we're gonna see people erupt emotionally and so forth, because of because of now Trump is going to become the president again, and pretty much we're about to see a sequel of 2021 when it came to January 6th. Okay, so I just want to let y'all know we're about to go through a sequel. And remember, sequels are supposed to be a lot more bigger, badder, action packed, and so forth. Okay, so think of it as a movie we're about to watch. The sequel to January 6th is coming. Okay, and it'll be a lot more crisis actors. It's going to be a lot more. And you know what? Okay, so Capricorn season, I just feel like Capricorn season is going to be a whole fucking movie in the world. Okay, it's going to be a whole fucking movie. The goal, because Capricorn represents goals, okay? Your goal is not to fall for the fucking movie and think it's real. Okay, that's the fucking goal. Keep that in mind. What you think is real is not real, that you see on your TV screen. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Saturn's in Pisces. Okay, Pisces will wave that wand, okay, and make you look the other way. Okay, I'm not your typical Pisces. I don't do that shit. But I'm just saying your typical Pisces energy will do that. Okay, they'll wave their fucking wand and have you look the other way. So with that being said, that's what they're doing. Little fires everywhere. Shout out to Jaguar. Right. All right, so we're gonna get into that too. Okay, don't think I'm not gonna forget about all that shit either. All right, it's raining just a little bit. I'm just gonna move stuff over just a little bit. Just gonna move stuff over just a little bit. Okay, so next, So Capricorn season is going to be a whole movie. I think the energy of the collective is going to be very on edge. Capricorn season, with this Mars going back into Cancer, retrograde. Yeah, we'll get into all that stuff. Sleep well, RX. We'll get into that. I'm gonna touch on all that too. All right, so Capricorn season is gonna be a whole movie. Let's move into Aquarius season. Okay, I think that's when the sequel will very much launch. So Aquarius season is gonna be another fucking movie, the whole continuation of the movie that they're gonna be playing on your TV screens. But for general collective energy, I would say Aquarius season is very much all about consistency. Okay, stay consistent with your personal goals. Make sure you're working, because since now we don't have energy in Capricorn like that, heavy hitters anymore for a good long time, I think people are going to forget how to fucking work. Okay, you're going to start hearing people talk about, again, the Great Resignation. Okay, we're coming into another Great Resignation period, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So people are not going to want to work. Okay, I see that happening, especially in Aquarius season. Once Trump becomes president, people are trying to bow out. Okay, they're trying to think that they're transitioning into the age of Aquarius. Okay, and thinking that the new era is here when it's not yet. Not officially until after February 20th, 2026. This is 2025 we're talking about. So, bitch, you need to go to work. You need to make that money, because you want to make sure you have enough resources coming up. Hint. You want to make sure you have enough money on your hands, enough money that you can touch. We're going to get into that later too with predictions. Aquarius season is going to give you that fucking hint. Okay? Aquarius energy is the foretelling. Okay? Think of it that way. Aquarius energy is foreseeing, thinking of solutions, being a step ahead. And this is going to be the first Aquarius season where the sun will conjunct Pluto in Aquarius on Inauguration Day. Okay? So this is very important to remember. Aquarius season is going to give you that foretelling that you need to know on how to fucking move forward. So pay attention to January a lot. Okay? Because also we're going to reset into the nodes changing too. I forgot to mention that in Capricorn season. The nodes are changing, the ecliptic. Okay? The North Node has been in Aries. South Node's been in Libra since July 2023. That's going to change in January as well, in Capricorn season on January 11th. So I kind of jumped a little ahead. Okay? The nodes will shift from Aries to Pisces. Okay? North Node's going to go into Pisces at the last degrees of Pisces, like I mentioned. Okay? And the South Node will be in Virgo. Okay? Because it's always the opposite. So with the ecliptic changing, we're tapping into our higher selves too. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot fall for the movie, because the movie is going to be, if you think it's bad or it's been bad for the past 4 years, this fucking movie on these black screens and the shit that you're about to see, it's going to really start playing out in Capricorn season. And Aquarius season is when the movie's released. So people can go to the theaters and watch it and fall for it. So please stay focused. That's what this Aquarius season is letting me know to you. Stay focused, because it's going to take a lot of people off their tracks. It's a slippery slope. And the reason why it's a slippery slope is because you're going to have North Node in Pisces. You're going to have Venus in Pisces. You got Saturn in Pisces. And then you have Neptune in Pisces. And then Venus is going to enter shadow, meaning the zone that she's going to come back to in Pisces on January, what day is that? January 28th. Yep, January 28th. Okay. So Venus entering that point at 24 degrees of Pisces on January 28th is letting all of us know that we're about to start entering into a slippery slope of sloppiness and craziness. Okay. So I'm just putting that out there with all that energy at the end of Pisces is letting me know everything. All right. So Aquarius season is giving us the foretelling of what we're about to experience. Okay. We move into Pisces season in 2025. Let me tell you something. Pisces season is littered with crazy shit. I think this is going to be one of the sloppiest seasons of the year. It's going to get so sloppy in terms of how the world is operating. I foresee a lot of mental crises maxing out or starting to peak out. Pisces season is a whole mess. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's very difficult because it's like I know people be like, well, will it top March 2020 season? I don't know, man. I don't know what's it's gonna go so far out of our boundaries. Expect your boundaries to be pushed in Pisces season on what you can handle in terms of what media is pushing there, the agendas taking place, because they don't the dark energy did not want Trump to be president, because now like I said before in my last live on Instagram that whoever became the next president is going to have an effect on the US for a long time. So since we know it's Trump, we're about to see the shit that they're going to try to do to keep people against Trump. Pisces season is going to be crazy. Okay. March 2025, I think it's going to top March 2020. Okay. We'll get into what I think is going to take place later. But for right now, let's keep it brief. March 2025 is going to top March 2020. I will be shocked if March 2025 is quiet. I will be so shocked. There's too much shit going on in March, astrologically. Too much. So I'm going to go down the list of what's taking place in March. All right, March 1st, when rent is due. Venus, station retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. Already, March rolls in like a lion. Okay? Venus is stationing retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. Okay? Where Venus is at detriment. So remember, this is not a happy Venus. Okay? So that's one. Two, 2 days later, March 3rd, Neptune is back at 29 degrees of Pisces. If you remember me saying 29 degrees of Pisces is the most extreme degree of the zodiac. 29 degrees of any sign is the most extreme, but Pisces it trumps all of it. Okay, that's the most difficult degree in the zodiac. I don't care. Okay, with the sun at 29 degrees of Pisces, you know what I'm talking about. If you were born on March 19th or 20th, you probably have the sun at 29 degrees of Pisces. Your life has been fucking crazy. Okay. Barron Trump, Trump's son, Barron, he's a sun at 29 degrees of Pisces. So I know his life is crazy in the background. Okay. And what makes it even more extreme is Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And the last time Neptune was at 29 degrees of Pisces, in the last cycle was 1859, 1860. So we have to think about history in 1859 and 1860. We're pretty much at 1860 at this point, okay? Or 1861, somewhere around there. So this is going to blur the lines a lot. And we did get a hint of Neptune being at 29 degrees in 2024. That was literally June and July and a little bit of August, the summer of 2024. Okay, there was a lot of shit that was all over the place in the summer of 2024. Think about that times 5, because it's going to get worse. Because Neptune's going to be at 29 degrees of Pisces back and forth for a while in 2025 going to 2026. So this 29-degree mark of Pisces is going to get hit hard. We're about to go into that later. All right. Lunar eclipse. March 14th, 2025. We will have a lunar eclipse that will happen at 23 degrees of Virgo. And that will oppose Saturn at 22 degrees of Pisces. That's the big one. Okay, this lunar eclipse, and it's the South Node lunar eclipse, and the South Node will be in Virgo. So this is going to start dissolving the reality that we live in. I feel like this is going to be the start of dissolving simulation we live in. It will begin with the lunar eclipse in Virgo, because Virgo deals with reality, Pisces deal with the spirit. Okay, South Node deals with things that we can see. North Node deals with things that we can't see. Since North Node's in Pisces and we have to follow the North Node, we're going to have to rely on our higher selves a lot. And where we're at subconsciously in 2025 and going into 2026. We're going to have to rely on that a lot. Okay, just a forewarning. So if you're too based in reality, or you're getting fooled by the reality that's being portrayed on your black screen, you're going to fall hard in 2025. You're going to fall so hard. That's why I say it's a slippery slope. 2025 is a big slippery slope. And March 2025 is going to show you if you're sliding down that slope or you're going to ride the edge into the new era. Does that make sense so far? Okay, I hope that makes sense thus far, because we still got a lot to go through. We still got a lot to go through, okay? All right, let's move into Aries season, okay? Aries season. Oh, I forgot. We got to continue with Pisces season. I'm sorry. Nope, not there yet. There's too much. There's still more. I forgot. Right after the lunar eclipse, Mercury stations retrograde at 9 degrees of Aries, where the next eclipse is going to occur, okay? March 19th, the sun will align with Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Here we go again with the Pisces. Blurring the lines. Things are getting crazy. The water is getting too high because it's starting to flood. I see a lot of flooding happening in this period too. All right. Of course, March 20th is the beginning of Aries season. Okay, the sun will reach 0 degrees of Aries, which is another very important degree we have to remember. We're going to get into Aries season now. Let's move into Aries season. So think of Pisces being the historical moments taking place, okay? So Aries season is going to continue the historical moments that's going to happen. Starting off in Aries season, okay? We have, let's get into the Venus star point is where Venus retrograde is going to go behind the sun, okay? No, I'm sorry. It's a Cassini. It goes in front of the sun. I'm sorry. So Venus is going to go in front of the sun on March 22nd. So she's going to transition from being a morning star, no, from a evening star to a morning star now, okay? That's a very important thing to remember because Venus points are very important. It's happening in Aries. Think of war, think of masculine energy, very competitive. Uh, think of military, think of, fighting and so forth. Very confrontational. And then March 27th, that, because we're in eclipse season at this point, and March 27th, the dark moon begins in Pisces, and it's going to cover all of the Pisces shit that I just mentioned, like Saturn being Pisces, Neptune, North, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. Is covering all of that. I don't think we've never seen a dark moon in our lives that's going to cover so much energy. Maybe 2020 was the last time, maybe. No, not even. No, yeah, I would say it was. When we started the year of the rat. Yeah, it was. That was the last time we've seen so much energy in a dark moon. And think of dark moons as devil days. Okay? So, but it's an eclipse dark moon. So this is going to be so potent. And then also Venus retrograde will move back into Pisces, where she's happy, but she's going to hit Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. So she's going to run into a wall of water. Okay? Basically. And then March 29th, we have the solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. Mercury retrograde will run into that wall of water too, right after the solar eclipse. And then March 30th is when Neptune will enter into Aries. 0 degrees of Aries, okay? That is a lot of energy, okay? What it made me think of is that one girl, the OnlyFans girl recently, if y'all know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. It reminds me of that that OnlyFans girl who slept with 100 men, and she's trying to do 1,000 now. That's what it reminds me of. It is so much shit going on in March 2025 alone. Pisces into Aries season, okay? I think of it like there's going to be like someone out there who's going to sleep with 1,000 men in one day. That's what that energy reminds me of, that window. There's just too much. That's just too much. And there's going to be too much. There's going to be a lot of traumas developing during that period. So mentally get yourself prepared for March 2025. Okay? All right, continuing with Aries season. After March is done, I'm going to be honest, then the energy gives you a break. Finally. Okay? Because March is like a marathon, man. I'm going to let you know. March is a fucking marathon. Once we roll into April, that's when things get a little bit better. Okay? The reason why is because April 1st, there's a very nice grand sextile energy that will be happening with, because Mars will be moving forward by that point, still being Cancer. Mars, Saturn, and Uranus will be in a grand sextile energy, and the moon's going to hit Uranus. So that's going to be very nice energy. Venus will conjunct Saturn, and then Mercury will station direct right after that. And then April 12th, man, one of the things that next has is there's a lot happening in one day sometimes. Like, for example, 12th, full moon at 23 degrees of Libra to end eclipse season. 1. And then the sun is going to be conjunct Chiron at 23 degrees of Aries. And then right after, like literally an hour, almost an hour later, Venus stations direct at 24 degrees of Pisces. And then all planets will be direct, meaning no retrogrades for at least 3 weeks, okay, in April. So think of, I would say the second half of Aries season is going to be go time, okay? We're not going to have go time for a while. I'm going to be honest. There's not going to be a go time for the first couple months of 2025. There's going to be a lot of hiccups, okay? But then second half of Aries season, then it's go time, okay? But you only got a couple weeks to get things moving. That's the crazy part. Then Taurus season rolls in, and Taurus season starts off hot, okay? Because we're going to have Mars again by that time again. Mars pulls Pluto and Aquarius one final time, okay? End of April. And the sun will create a T-square in that point. So it's going to feel very intense. If you're the first degrees of Scorpio, if you were born the first degrees of Scorpio, or if you have any big hitter planets or anything between we'll say 1 degree to about 3 degrees of Scorpio, you're going to be hit the hardest with this energy. That energy is going to hit hard and quick, okay? So end of April for some people, it's going to be hitting hard. Or it may not hit as hard. It may actually elevate yourself up if you've been responding to the universe properly. And then Taurus new moon still kind of has that energy, like heavy hitting energy. It's not the best new moon, to be honest. We're not going to have really that many good new moons in the first couple months of 2025. I'm just going to be honest, and the full moons are kind of crazy too. Taurus season is pretty much, I would say, it's like reviewing what has happened, because Pluto's going to station retrograde on May 3rd or May 4th, to begin the retrograde season, of stuff. And like, I feel like Taurus season, we're going to kind of get a break from stuff. We'll be able to start relaxing a little bit. But just let you know, like, we're going to be seeing a lot of things that we're like, wow. It's kind of like working a crazy shit show shift at a restaurant. And then, all of a sudden, it's starting to slow down with business that night. And you're kind of like beginning to breathe. I feel like that's how Taurus season is. It's like, okay, we can breathe a little bit now, for sure. Let me go through the list. Yep. One other thing. In Taurus season, the sun will conjunct Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. It will be the last sun conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Okay? So it's giving us a hint of the transitioning of energies that are coming. All right, Gemini season. Gemini season Starts with a bang, but a beautiful bang. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I feel like the first half of Gemini season is going to be really good energy. Um, we have a beautiful new moon at 6 degrees of Gemini on May 26th, but on May 24th, 2 days before, we're going to have Saturn enter into Aries to give us a hint of what's going to start taking place, of the transitions of falling systems and structures that we've been so used to. Okay, we're going to start seeing that starting to play out. Okay, in Gemini season. But as long as if you have not fell for the big traps that are going to happen in Pisces season or the first couple months of the year, Gemini season is going to treat you well. I do feel that way. I like the energy of Gemini season for the most part, or pretty much all of it. That's when it's going to start feeling like, okay, oh, things are starting to look better, okay? But if you fell for the traps, it's going to be a shit show, okay? Gemini season is going to go one way or the other for you. Now, one of the key things that I want to point out is every year you're going to have Sun conjunct Jupiter, okay? And usually it's going to be in the next sign every year. So like, for example, in 2020, we had Sun conjunct Jupiter in Capricorn, okay? In 2020, no, actually 2020, no, we didn't. Oh shit, we didn't have no Sun conjunct Jupiter. Oh shit, I just remembered that. No, we didn't. That was in 2019. Shit. At the end of 2019. But in 2021, we had Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius. Okay. And then 2022, we had Sun conjunct Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, you see my pattern where I'm going. And then 2023, we had Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aries. And then in 2024, this year, we had Sun conjunct Jupiter in Taurus. In 2025, Gemini, you're not getting a Sun conjunct Jupiter. Sorry, Geminis, you're not getting that beautiful, nice little, boost. Jupiter is going to leave. Jupiter hates your sign, okay? He hates your sign. He's tired of looking at every little facts and small shit. He's moving out, okay? By June 9th, he's going to go into Cancer, okay? The sun will not reach Jupiter until Cancer. And Jupiter loves Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, okay? Jupiter is most powerful in Sagittarius and Pisces. Cancer is his second home. He loves the sign of Cancer. He cannot wait to go into Cancer. Okay? So with that being said, there will not be no Sun conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. Okay? But Gemini, don't sweat. Unless you're at the end of, unless your birthday is in June, towards the end of Gemini season before the summer begins, you might have a rough go. I'm not gonna lie. But those of you who are May Geminis, don't worry. You'll be fine. There's a lot of positive energy heading your way. Okay. So, Gemini season looks pretty good for the most part, but there is some heavy hitting shit happening though. I'm not gonna lie. In the background during that time, I'm not gonna lie, because there is going to be Jupiter in the first couple degrees of Cancer. Once Jupiter enters into Cancer from June 9th until the 19th, Jupiter is going to be hitting a wall with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Okay? Now, the crazy part is Jupiter is going to win that battle. Okay? Because Saturn is very weak. It's its weakest position in Aries. Okay, Saturn hates Aries. Saturn is very weak in Aries. Saturn can't control the baby. Okay? Think of a businessman trying to control a fucking baby. And then you got Neptune, who's in Aries. Neptune doesn't like Aries either. Because Neptune's like, wait, I gotta go to war? I was just chilling in Pisces at my home. I gotta go to war now? So with that being said, Jupiter is going to cause a lot of drama to unfold in June. And I feel like June, if you're planning to go on vacation in June, I would be very careful. I would be very careful if you're going on vacation in June. The reason being is because there's going to be a lot of issues with flights and Boeing and all of that. A lot of it will be due to strikes. We'll get into all that, okay, later on. So Gemini season towards the end is going to be crazy. It's going to become very, again, scattered all over the place, limited traveling, and so forth. And also, I think that's when war is going to really start to get going because Mars will be out of shadow, moving more forward into Leo. I think it would be out of Leo. I think that would be in Cancer season. Yeah, it would be out of Leo in Cancer season. So yeah. And Venus will be in Aries at that time too. Yeah. But there's going to be some nice energy with Venus and Mars, so and fire signs, which I like. So we'll get into that later on when we talk about relationships and stuff like that. All right, moving forward to Cancer season. Okay, again, Cancer season, the summer solstice will begin with a bang. Okay, but I would say it's going to be hard to tell how people will do once Cancer season begins. I honestly, I think once Cancer season happens, you're going to either love your life, how it's going thus far in 2025, or you're going to either hate it. I'm going to be very honest. It's going to be nothing in between. You're either going to love your life on how things are going for you. That's when you know you're doing the right thing. You were responding to the universe correctly. Or you're going to be going through it because you fell down that slope. And I think by Cancer season, it's going to be hard. Like, even though, yeah, Sun conjunct Jupiter at the beginning of the season, but damn, it's going to have to square Saturn, it's going to square Neptune and Aries. We never felt that before. Like, where both are in Aries at the very beginning, we never felt that in our lives. So it's going to be hard to tell how Cancer season is going to go for people. I think this is when you're going to see the really big split in the collective. As I go through, Cancer season, yeah, July 4th, on the United States birthday, we do have Venus will conjunct Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Okay. The crazy part is in 2026, Venus and Uranus are going to do the same thing at the same position, literally almost exact to a minute. Okay. The following year. So we're going to start seeing the money shit. Okay. And the economy. Everything's going to start really showing in Cancer season how the U.S. is doing, how the rest of the world is doing. Okay. And then July 7th, Uranus enters into Gemini. And that's going to activate Pluto in Aquarius. So we're going to really, truly see what Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring for the collective by July. Okay, we're going to get into the the tech predictions and stuff like that. We're going to get into that as well, AI. Neptune stations retrograde. When does that happen? On July 4th. See, that's what I said. There's certain days where there's just things are happening. Not Uranus. Neptune stations retrograde at 2 degrees of Aries, where the Venus star point happens. There's a lot of reoccurring things. And then Saturn stations retrograde on. Oh shit! I lost myself. Saturn stations retrograde on July 12th. Okay, and that's going to be the closest when Saturn and Neptune are going to be in Aries. They're like so close to aligning. It looks like if you take a telescope that they're aligned, but they're not exactly yet. It's so crazy. So Cancer season. Cancer season is going to be a heavy emotional season for half of the collective. I can feel it. I can feel it. All right, Leo season has a really good new moon. I'm not gonna lie, but that new moon is going to oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so that's going to be very interesting. When I look at Leo season, I think Leo season, it's not going to be as crazy as 2024. If you remember August 2024, this year was crazy. This year is not going to be as crazy. Okay? It's not. I would say Leo season is your break. Leo season, treat Leo season 2025 as the season of review. If you're not happy with your life and the way it's going, this is the time to make the adjustments. This is the time to jump ships. This is the time to figure your shit out. Pluto in Aquarius is that energy, that new moon in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius is letting you know, bitch, if you're not happy with your life, find a solution and figure it out. Okay, Leo season is the figure it out fucking season. Okay, whether you like it or you don't. Because if you don't figure it out, if you're still gonna cry and complain and don't do anything about it, you're fucked. Also, Pluto is telling you in Leo season, use technology to your advantage. That's the only way to survive. Use your fucking technology. I don't care who you are. I don't care how spiritual you fucking are. Because spiritual people are about to slap the hardest next year. I don't care how fucking remote you are. You better fucking use technology to your benefit. You better let AI help you out. Because if you don't, you're fucked. To the point where you might end up not surviving. I'm being honest. That's how serious I am about next year. You may not even survive. I hate to say that. So do not be that prune, that dried up, no juice having prune, and feeling like, oh, I don't need technology. I can't be, I'm not using it because they're going to deceive me and da da da. No, bitch, you need to figure it out. Or get on that universal basic income because, bitch, you're going to be done. Okay? I'm not telling you to go get the shot. I'm not telling you to do all that. I'm not saying all that. What I'm saying is you need to use technology to your benefit because there's people out there who don't want to use it. And I'm like, okay, well, you're going to die in the next year or two. You're going to be done. That's what Pluto Aquarius is going to tell everyone. Okay, Pluto deals with survival and is in Aquarius. Aquarius is technology. Uranus is going to be in Gemini. You're going to be forced to use technology. Not even by the governments. It's the universe that's going to force you to use it. So don't be that fucking dried up prune. All right, Virgo season, reality check. So if you didn't take the adjustments that you needed to do, bitch, Virgo season is reality check. This is when people are going to start really dying off. I'm being honest. I hate to say that, But Virgo season is going to be a bitch. If you looked at my post for Virgo season, that was probably the most read, and Pisces season was the most read. Okay, meaning the most challenges, and Sagittarius season too, but we'll get into that later. But I'm saying Virgo and Pisces seasons are going to be the most challenging seasons of. Now Virgo is it. Okay, let's look at reality now. Holy fucking shit. That's what Virgo's gonna say. What the fuck? Virgo energy is gonna get torn apart next year. Okay, we're skipping Virgo season next year. That's what a lot of people is gonna want. Virgo season is gonna be fucking skipped. You got 2 new moons in Virgo, one of them being a solar eclipse at the end. You got a lunar eclipse smacked right dab in the middle of fucking Virgo season. A lunar eclipse in Pisces, out of all signs, right in the middle of Pisces. I mean, I have nothing much else to say. Virgo season is the worst season of next year. Let's just put it out there. Pisces season is the most challenging, but Virgo season is going to be the most worst because it's like it's like a snowball. Like I said, it's a slippery slope. Once you start rolling down that slippery slope, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to be hard to get out of your fuck shit. That's why I'm saying like split collective. I'm going to be honest. All right, let's go into we're gonna skip Virgo season. Okay, Virgo season. We're gonna talk about it later. Virgo season is a headache. Libra season is a weirdo season. I'm not gonna lie. Again, Libra season is a mess. But the funny part is, it's gonna go from cold, from hot. I don't want to say from hot to cold, but it's going to go from 100 to 0 by Scorpio season. Scorpio season is, if you are surviving and doing well, Scorpio season is just going to be beautiful. Scorpio season, in my opinion, is the best season of the year, which is weird because it's right in the middle of fuck shit. But Scorpio season is the best season of the year with the energy. The energy in Scorpio season, I was mind blown. How that's smacked right dab in the middle of fucking fuck shit. Okay. Scorpio season is going to show who's at top and who's at the bottom. That's the best way I can put it. The reason why I say that is because Scorpio season has beautiful grand water trines happening all season. With Saturn, Jupiter and Cancer, and then all the energy like Venus, the Sun, Mercury retrograde in that zone, Mars, like all that's going to go through Scorpio. And they're going to create grand water trines. So if you're surviving and you're going through some fuck shit, there's relief. Don't get me wrong. There is relief. And that's when I think universal basic income is going to become a reality. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later. And then Sagittarius season. Oh, yeah. Sagittarius season is a mess, too. Sagittarius season, the end of 2025, November, December. It's going to be really, really. You're going to see how much a year. Let's talk about it. A year from now, you're going to sit there, and you're going to be like, "Wow, look how much the world has changed in 1 year." Sagittarius season 2025, you're going to be sitting there saying to yourself, wow, how quickly the world has took a turn. Very similar to 2020, but not lockdowns, okay? Not COVID, okay? There might be something new brewing at that time. I don't know. We'll talk about that later as well, but You're gonna sit there and be like, wow, the world has turned so quick upside down. You're gonna be in shock by Sagittarius season, like how much shit has happened in 1 year. And you're gonna remember Gabe said that. So mark my word, December 15th, 2025, a year from now, you're gonna be like, damn, so much shit has happened. Whether that was with me personally, with yourself personally, or the world. You're gonna be like, wow, that's crazy. So Sagittarius season, there's gonna be, I think war is gonna be really breaking out by then. At that point, if it has not, that's the deadline. The war is just gonna be crazy. We're gonna talk about what I think war is gonna look like, and then I'm gonna shift into 2026. Okay, real quick, and then I want to talk about like what I feel things are going to take place. Capricorn season 2026, or the new year. Again, Capricorn season is going to really reveal who's coming out at top, who's at the bottom. Let's just say if you're on universal basic income, you're at the bottom. If you're not making your own money, especially with this Uranus and Venus conjunction in Taurus in 2025 and 2026 at the last degree of Taurus, tells me you need to be making your own shit. You need to be making your own money. You need to be building yourself up in 2025. If you're not able to do that for whatever reason, or you're not doing that at all, it's going to be very hard to survive. And yeah, you're going to get universal basic income, but I don't know how much that's going to be per month. I honestly don't. It's like having unemployment, but the thing is, you're going to be limited what you can spend that money on and how much you're going to get a month or whatever, or a week or whatever that shit is. So Capricorn season, I hate to say it, I feel like Capricorn season is going to be a dark season at the very beginning of 2026. It's going to be a very dark season for a lot of people. Because at that point, Saturn and Neptune are back in Pisces. It's just going to be a fuck show again. It's just the movies, another fucking movie, Alien Invasion, maybe possibly by that point, because they're prepping you up for that already with the Project Bluebeam shit. I don't know, with the drones and all that. So, and then February 2026 is the end of the simulation. It literally is, because Saturn and Neptune will be in Aries by then, and they will align at 0 degrees of Aries, and 0 degrees of Aries is the new beginning, like the new beginning. And by that time, you should be starting to use AI. By that time, you should already have enough resources built up for yourself, because I'm giving you a little hint. 2026 is a 1 year. Okay, it's a reset of the numerology for the matrix. But the problem is it equals 10 if you just count it that way. 10 in Greek numerology or letters is X. We've been hearing a lot about disease X. We've been hearing, Twitter turned to X. US had the X go across with the eclipses. X has been used a lot. So with that being said, let's just go through, let's do a review real quick, and then I'm going to start a new live where I'm going to make my predictions, because I know some people don't want to go through all this again. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my predictions on IG, because YouTube, I already know YouTube is still be on that shit, so they're probably going to say that my video is not kid friendly or whatever, so whatever. So let's do a little review, and now I'm going to do my predictions only on IG. So if you're watching on YouTube, come to my IG page. So First off, if I have to give the seasons, okay, the timeline that I'm going through, starting with 2025 Capricorn season, okay, I give 2025 Capricorn season a C plus. Aquarius season, I'm gonna give 2025 Aquarius season, I'm gonna give a C minus. Pisces season, I'm giving a F plus. Okay, this is where people did not do their homework. They didn't do shit. They just filled in. They just wrote whatever and turned it into the teacher. Okay, Pisces season gets a F plus. Okay, they got a 67%. Okay, on the test, or whatever, 65% out of 100. That means you got an F. Aries season, I'm gonna give Aries just because April is actually a pretty nice month. It gives a good breather. I'll give Aries season a B minus because Mars retrograde is over and all that. I'll give Aries season a B minus. Taurus season, I'm gonna give a C. Okay, it's gonna go one way or the other for people. Taurus season, a C. Gemini season, I'll give it a benefit of doubt. I'm gonna give Gemini season a B plus. Okay, Gemini season, Gemini energy, a B plus. Cancer season, I'm gonna give a B plus, just because, like I said, there's gonna be a lot going on Cancer season. A lot of people are gonna be going through it emotionally. Leo season, I'm gonna give Leo season actually an A minus because that's the season where if you need to make adjustments, do it. Okay, Leo season is like to me the most important season, just because of the fact that that's the season. If you need to make a fucking adjustment, do it that season. If you're on the wrong path. Virgo season F minus. This is the person who got a fucking 40% on the test. Libra season's getting an F plus because Libra season. The problem with Libra season, real quick, I didn't really get into it, but the problem with Libra season is the fact that Mars is in Libra for most of the season. There's a lot of like, oh, it's the opposition point of Saturn and Neptune because they'll still be in Aries at that point. No, Saturn will be in Pisces, but Neptune will still be in Aries. It'll be covering that zone, that very vulnerable zone of Aries and Pisces. So it's just going to make things very weird when it comes to people's economy, resources wise, career switches and contract dealings are going to be so off during that season, during that time. That's why I give it an F plus. Scorpio season gets an A plus. Scorpio season is looking pretty good. And then Sagittarius season, I'm gonna give it a C minus because there's some positives in that season. I'm not gonna lie, but it's still all over the place. And then 2026 Capricorn season, I'm gonna give that pretty much. I'm gonna leave that open because that's still a little too far out. I'm gonna leave that open. Capricorn 2026 and Aquarius 2026. I'm gonna leave that open because we're entering unknown territory. Okay. So that is just how I feel. Like I said, the most challenging seasons are gonna be Pisces and Virgo, hands down. Hands down, the most challenging seasons, Pisces and Virgo. There's going to be historical moments in Pisces season. That's going to change a lot of people's lives moving forward after that. Okay. And then Virgo season is the reality fucking check. Okay. And it makes sense because the eclipses that are happening. It makes sense. Usually, whatever signs the eclipses are happening in is going to be your more challenging seasons. Usually, that's how it plays out. But for the past 4 years, it didn't align that way. So, all right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to end these lives, and I'm going to start a new live. Okay. If you're on YouTube, come over to Instagram because this is where I'm going to make my predictions for 2025, the official ones. Okay. So I hope this kind of gives you an idea of the flow of energy of how it's going to play out. The transformational, like shedding of the skin with the Chinese New Year of the snake, the completion energy at the same time as 2025 is a 9 year. So let's get into predictions. Come over to my next slide.